Yeah, hey, drop.
And it looks like it's a go, my friend.
Prime cover.
It is Mac and Cal on the new edition, first episode, Unfiltered Sports. What's going on, brother? Tip of the cap to you today. What's happening, Cal?
Looks like we had a little bit
Trying to
of technical
see what's
difficulties
going
there.
on in the back. We're getting some things worked out there. It seemed like I could hear you when you were coming in there, brother Cal. We'll get this all worked out in a second, as this is obviously the first edition, new episode of Unfiltered Sports here on Prime Covered Sports Network. Um, yeah, we got a lot to cover, man. We got a lot to go over. We got Oregon got put out by Indiana in a blowout fashion, which is now set up for the championship on January 19th between Indiana and Miami. Very good matchup. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be huge. And a lot of things need to are going to happen before then. You know, you're going to hear a lot of talk come out of which team is better, which program deserves this, does deserve that. I'm so glad that at least this college football has it put playoffs has it provided this much excitement and energy. It was something that I was worried about could even be even a thing, and yet here we are when we're coming up to the national championship, and it's been an exciting playoffs heading up to this championship, and hopefully that'll continue.
Oh yeah, especially what I really like about it is that there's somebody new in the mix. You know, I always hate when it's Alabama, Ohio State, or throw in Georgia and everybody else, but to finally have somebody new like Indiana kind of have that Cinderella story and coming in and just dominating over Oregon. I walked into it thinking it was going to be a close game, and I mean, right off the bat, that first play of the game, getting that pick six was just something that was just insane to me, you know. And it looks like we're having a little bit of technical difficulties on our end, but I'll keep going. And then you look at the way that, Francisco Mendoza was playing, just walking in and solidifying himself as, the number one overall pick coming in this NFL draft, and really did we get everything figured out here?
Yeah, there we go. All right, now we're going and we're rocking and rolling. All right, so let's continue up at I didn't catch it all what you were saying there about the national championship game in the college playoffs. Cal, let's go ahead recap that for me again, please.
Oh, good, man. I was just saying how it was nice having somebody other than the usuals in, and finally getting in Indiana. And I thought for sure that the Indiana Oregon game would have been close at first, but just seeing that utter dominance, I mean, especially from the first play of the game, getting that pick six right off the bat from Dante Moore, I mean, it just really set the tone for the game.
Yeah, it was something special, and was I surprised that even with Miami, that was a great game against Ole Miss, and but at the same time, I also felt like it was weird because Ole Miss had overachieved in a way, and I know that sounds crazy because Miami barely got
Mm-hmm.
in by the selection committee, but it just felt like it always felt like to me that Miami was the best team in the ACC uh, during the whole season, and so I wasn't shocked at all or nor am I shocked to see Miami in the championship game. But I mean, but seeing them go against Ole Miss, that was surprising considering that their coach literally took a job right before the playoffs at another school, which I just, still the timing of it all, and I know there's a lot of Lane Kiffin haters, and I'm not gonna, add on top of it because I mean, trust me, I think the guy's kind of trash too, but it's just it's just kind of crazy though that this team was still able to go on a run like this. Imagine if their head coach had actually stuck around,
Oh yeah.
until the end of the season. But anyway, here we are. What I still think a very good matchup. And some kind of way Miami got lost in the shuffle during the season. They took a couple losses, and they got lost, but they also had some really big wins. I mean, people, as much as I don't know why it gets overlooked, the fact that they beat Notre Dame, which
Hmm.
I still think is a team that should have made the playoffs. Uh, and even though it was early in the season, doesn't matter. It was a very key victory. I'm not surprised to see them be able to come into this tournament and take on these other highly ranked schools from different conferences and win.
Oh yeah. And I have to say I disagree with you, man. You know, it comes down to Miami, Notre Dame. Miami beat Notre Dame. They needed to be in the tournament, not Notre Dame.
No, exactly. But I mean, James Madison didn't deserve to be in there, and
No.
Tulane, and those are the schools that I got my beef with. I wholeheartedly think that Miami deserved to be in the playoffs, but I also think that Notre Dame deserved to be in there as well. And obviously they've got a lot of things to work out because when you get two teams like that, that's not you're not fulfilling your obligation to give us the best competition when two teams like that make the playoffs and they were quickly exited out. It's like that's not in the good spirit of making a great competition. That'd be the equivalent, of the NFL going and saying, "Hey, yeah, we know that Carolina should make the playoffs because they won a division, but you know what? We're gonna give it to this team that's on the bottom end because whatever it's only fair." I don't agree with that. The best 12 best teams should make. Period. That's
Yeah.
just the way it should be. 12 best teams in college football should be playing for the title.
Yeah. And you know what? Now we got the best two left going for a national championship game. And if Miami can do what they did when they completely readjusted against Ohio State and take that game, their little scramble against Old Miss. I mean, I feel like that defense matches up pretty good against Indiana, but I just don't see that much offense coming out of them, especially with the way that Indiana's defense has been playing.
Well, that's the thing is that Indiana is this really shocking story because
Hmm.
you know I knew last year it was something they were starting to get a buzz, and I'm really not one to follow the Hoosiers whatsoever, but it's kind of funny because there's a one of the Chicago sports reporters from ESPN, Courtney Cronin. She covers the Chicago Bears, and obviously, being big Bears fans, I hear her giving interviews, and then she started talking about this team last year about how impressed she was about her progress. So I'm like, okay, that piqued my interest. I started paying attention to them, and then so I wasn't surprised this year when they opened up the way they did, when they took the Big Ten by storm, and ultimately when they slayed the mighty Ohio State Dragon. Uh, to me, that was everything that said, and they're just cementing it all now by absolutely dominating any team that they come up against in this playoff run. It will be interesting to see that if I mean I want to see. I love competition. I'm not gonna lie. I will be surprised if Miami wins. I
Yeah.
will be. I would be shocked if Miami wins. because of how well Indiana's playing on both sides of the ball. I mean, they have the Heisman Trophy winner Mendoza at quarterback, and he's looking everything like he's looking like a number one draft pick. And if he continues to play like he's been playing in the tournament, I don't know if Miami has enough firepower on the other side of the ball. Carson Beck, good quarterback. I don't know if he has the traits to be a great quarterback. And I think on the other side, you're looking at a guy Mendoza who might have the potential to be really good to great quarterback in the future. His upside seems to be pretty high. And not to take away from Carson Beck, not to say Carson Beck won't be a productive quarterback in the NFL. You don't know until they get there. But the eye test never lies, Kyle.
Oh
And
yeah.
the eye test just tells me that Carson Beck is not going to be um, a top tier player in the NFL. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. That could turn another, but I don't. For what I've seen so far from his, in his career, I don't see that. But
No.
Mendoza seems like he definitely has the potential to be a top level quarterback in the NFL, right program, right system, and so yeah, I'm definitely pulling for Indiana to go ahead and win. And not to mention, I'm a Big Ten guy, I'm a Midwestern guy, right? So, of course, I'm going to pull for the Midwestern team over the team on the
Oh yeah.
East Coast.
Well, looking at the way he's been playing and the way the draft's set up, I mean, can you just say that he's going to be a Vegas Raider?
Yeah,
you know,
wow. I mean, and
because
that's
I mean
crazy, right?
the conversation going in was him and Dante Moore. This was the battle for the top quarterback, and
Yeah.
I've seen, to me, Dante Moore just doesn't look ready yet,
No,
especially going against that kind of competition.
no, he does not. He does not look ready yet, and that's a shame because I know going right up into that game, there was talk that he might even be able to challenge Mendoza for the number one pick of the draft. And now after that game, it's kind of like maybe pump the brakes on that. But I still think more than likely he's coming out because the quarterback class is not that strong, and guys know that this is their best shot to get if you're a borderline quarterback, this is your best shot to get drafted in the possible first or second round. Really, that first round, and that's what they're looking for. And people say, "Well, why is that?" Well, because that gives you time to develop.
Hmm.
That makes a team work with you a little bit longer. It was also because here's a perfect example of that. If you got a quarterback that's in the second round, he's only got 4 years before you have to make a decision. And now you have to immediately think after his second year, do we need to pump the brakes and restructure get ready to resign this guy, or are we going to let him go? And look at the situation that I kind of feel like Philadelphia is at, and we'll talk about that more. And that's where you find yourself with a really good quarterback, but you had to pay him, and you didn't have a lot of time to really think about it. So Dante Moore is more than likely trying to get that fifth year first round draft pick status, and he'll more than likely still get that in this year's draft, regardless of how bad that was um, against Indiana. And I was surprised actually. I really was, and it's hard to shock me, but I was surprised that he played that bad
Yeah,
against Indiana.
yeah, and I just think that not just him, but the majority of Oregon played really bad. And that was a team that how many years in a row they've had success being in the top of the original back in the day when they were in the Pac-10 and then moving over to the Big Ten. I just felt like they were always on the upside of everything. But I mean that defense, which I mean I had a lot of potential high first, second round draft picks on that defense, and I mean they just did not look up to par like
No.
DJ Uolagi and Dylan Thinneman. who I thought were two really elite players on that defense. And I mean, they just really just didn't show up at all, at least to me.
Yeah. No, they did. And hats off again to Ole Miss because you know like I said, they came out and they really put on the show. And I mean, man, a very controversial call, which allowed Miami to continue. This game, was right there, and I do have to give credit to Carson Beck for being able to go ahead and get the go ahead score. So even though yeah, I may have taken some shots at him by saying he's probably not going to be an elite level quarterback in the NFL, he still was able to come through in a clutch moment and use his legs to give Miami that go ahead score, which ultimately led to their win.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know, man. Like, what do you think? You think that it's going to be Indiana pulling it out against Miami, or is Miami going to be, back on top in their legacy of college football?
Well, we've got the once historic franchise, once historic college uh, program that is now risen back in Miami, and then you've got this first time on the scene Indiana program that is now sort of and I just feel like great coaching just trumps a lot, uh, and I just think that Indiana's coach Stagnetti, I just feel like he's the better coach. He just the guy knows what he's doing. He's a winner. He's been winning in just about everywhere he's been, and he finds a way to get the best out of his players, even though he doesn't have the best players out there. Like
Hmm.
a lot of the guys in Indiana's team are not going to be high draft picks. There might even heck a lot of the guys on that team probably are not going to get drafted. What'll end up happening if some of them make it, they'll make it as undrafted rookie free agents. But yet they play as such a cohesive unit that all they needed was to add one elite player in their quarterback, and everyone else just does their job thoroughly and they play with passion and from the heart. And that's coaching. The only way you're gonna get the best out of men like that is by coaching them thoroughly through and through and giving them a belief that they could beat anybody. And he's done that with Indiana. So yeah, I think Indiana's gonna win.
Yep. Yeah, I think so too. Especially the way that, I mean, even though Mendoza only threw for 177 yards, he put up five touchdowns.
Five
Five
times.
touchdowns. And it did, I mean, and at the end of the day, it looked easy to him,
Yeah.
you know? And I feel like that's been most of this year is his job has been easy. And that linebacking core and that secondary of Indiana, the way that they play together, I mean, I just don't see Miami being able to do that much.
No. And in Miami's, and that's the thing is that it's been a completely different journey for Miami. They barely beat Texas A&M. It was 10-3. Really, Texas A&M kind of let them off the hook. They should have beat Miami. The upset against Ohio State, which I just think that Ohio State, I just think it was a case of rust versus rest, and I think that they got the rest they needed, but Ohio State got rusty in the process, and Miami was feeling themselves because they had just came off of a very thrilling victory against an upset victory against Texas A&M, and I think they caught a sleeping giant, and it worked out in their favor. But on the other side, Indiana's been cruising. They destroyed Alabama.
Hmm.
Destroyed Alabama. I mean, seriously, after Alabama had really just come from the dead to beat Oklahoma in a comeback victory after Oklahoma had gone up big on them. And then they go up against Indiana and they just looked like they didn't belong.
Yep.
And then now and that was an SEC team, smacked them up easy. Now they go up against Oregon, Big Ten team now, which is weird to say because for so long, right, they were the Pac-12, but that's hey, welcome to the Big Ten, even though you're all the way on the West Coast, uh, and just effortlessly beat them down. And so I'd be very shocked if they struggled against Miami. I
Yep.
really would. I mean, considering what they've already done, the two top tier programs, and looking at the fact that Miami was one of the last teams to get selected. I mean, anything can happen. This is football. But Cal, I'm telling you right now, I'll be shocked if Indiana doesn't easily handle Miami.
Yep. I agree with you, man. I agree.
Yeah, and I know people say Miami's got a defense, but do they? I mean, do they? They gave up 27 points to Ole Miss. Ohio State put up 14, and just looks like they just fell asleep out there because if they had been playing the way we know Ohio State could play, they could have they could have took over 24 points. They
Yep.
only put up 10 against Texas A&M, and Texas A&M had a very very good defense, and it came to show. So I think the way Indiana's been playing on both sides of that ball, I got a feeling it's going to be a lot like the Oregon game.
Yep. I agree, man.
Now, we got a lot more stuff to get into. My God, I can't believe this is the inaugural show, Unfiltered Sports with Cal and Mac. We want to thank everyone out there, everyone that has joined us to uh, check out I think we are the first ones, right? We're
Yeah.
the first
You're the.
guys to kick it up, kick
Yep.
it off for Prime Coverage Sports Network. We want to send a shout out to our boy Freddie. Thank you very much for putting this together. I mean, great job from everything from the logo to building up our brand so that we could go out there and promote ourselves and let everybody know what's happening. And there's still a lot more to do. I mean, this is literally just the beginning, and I absolutely love that. Um, there's also you can also come and comment in if you're joining through StreamYard. You're able to chat with us as well. I believe we're also streaming. We should be streaming through YouTube, Facebook, as well as Twitter.
Yep. Well, X now.
X now, yes, yeah, X now. So
Yeah.
we're hoping. So shout out to everyone out there that has joined us live. We're hoping that you're enjoying this. This is Unfiltered Sports, and what is Unfiltered Sports? Well, it's me and Cal, a lot like what we do on our local show, The Truth About Chicago Sports, when we do our AM radio show every Saturday, 8 to 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. Make sure you check that out. Um, this platform gives us the chance to where we get to cover all, just not just the local sports, but all sports. And that, I'm gonna tell you, that's something I kind of been waiting and looking for a long time. I mean, hey, long time Bears fan, Cubs, Sox, Blackhawks. If it's Chicago, I love it. But at the same time, I just love sports, Kyle. And so to be able to sit and cover everything, it's exciting. This is new, big, and I'm hoping that this just continues to grow. So we just want to send a thank you out to everyone that helped bring this and make this happen. And like I said, shout out to the man that really is spearheading this, and that's Mr. Freddie Gibbs. Please make sure that you go and follow Prime Cover Sports Network on all our social media platforms. If you don't know what social media platforms are, just simply go to my Facebook, go to Cal's Facebook. We have the information posted right there. I also got information posted on my X account. I believe Cal. Well, actually, I gotta get your X account. I can't believe actually that we're not following each other on X. I don't know why.
Well, that's
I've
because I need to create an X account, man. I stayed
Then,
away. I stayed away
there
from
we
it
go.
for a long time. You know.
There we go. There we go. See, that explains that right there.
Yep.
I'm over here feeling bad, like, why am I not? And it's like, well, that's very easy. That's very easy to answer to that is that you don't have one.
Yep.
Like that. That takes care of that. But yeah, you can go. All the social media sites are available for you to come and see the show. And yeah, like I said, it's live. It's either going to be available. We're going to make sure that these episodes are available to go back and listen to on Spotify podcast, as this is the inaugural Unfiltered podcast show. And it feels good to be able to take the shackles off, in a way
Oh
that
yeah.
Cal like there's a freedom, in our podcast, where I don't have to feel the big brother staring down from top of me for
Oh, I
everything
know.
that I say. Like
Trust
I
me, man.
gotta,
There's a
you
few
know, so,
times that when we do our show that I'm kind of biting my lip with some of the things that I want to say. You
yeah, you get emotional. It's like, oh, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. I don't want to get the station fined.
know. You
So it
know,
is nice.
yeah, I agree, man. And you know what? It's funny, we talk about being able to talk about national sports, but I feel like we need to hit home for some big news that happened, what, Saturday night in the middle of the Bears game?
Yeah, and well, you know what? I consider this national news, because the Cubs pulled out a very shocking move
Mm-hmm.
and signed Alex Bregman for 5 years. And me and you had actually talked about this, on the Truth About Chicago Sports, about how that we didn't think that the Cubs needed to go this route or were going to go this route. Uh, Me and your prediction, and hope was on Bichette, and yet, we had heard the rumblings. There was whispers in the background, and sure enough, my boy, the big baller he is, Mr. J, baby, comes on through the door and pulls off another move. You know, I know there is a lot of people that do not like Jed Hoy.
Mm-hmm.
Cubs fans. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
like dedicated Cubs. They don't buy into the guy, and it's kind of funny to me because it's like he was there. He was a part of the championship run in 2016, and now he's just taking over the reins for Theo and just continue to try to keep this thing going where they could get back again before it's been 100 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so, hats off and much respect uh, to the Cubs for, man, they're bringing it all together, and there's a lot of people that were screaming at them, and I'm gonna tell you, I was in the background. I was like that Homer Simpson meme where he's like sits back in the bushes and just kind of fades back like I'm here but I'm not here. That's how I kind of was doing the whole situation with this team, because it's like, okay, I don't really know what you're doing, but man, I'm darn sure interested. Or actually, I can say that I was damn sure interested and wanting to know where this was gonna go.
Yeah.
Like what are you doing here? Because everybody seems to be making their team better, and you just were adding these little pieces that, but it wasn't nothing that was gonna really point the needle that you were trying to make yourself a championship contending team. And in a week's time, two swift moves. Wow, the
Oh yeah.
Cubs look like they're ready to play ball.
Yeah, and you know what? There was one thing I've been looking through, especially with his contract. I mean, he deferred 70 million of that contract. And that opens up opportunities for them to hopefully make a move and address now, what I've been talking about the whole beginning. If they signed him, what are they going to do in the outfield? Are they going to
Yep.
play out with Alcantara? Are they going to give Shaw maybe some reps in outfield? Because I feel like I said from the beginning, man, I felt like bringing Bregman in would just hinder his production. And I prefer, especially in baseball, youth, especially when you have 6 years of control with Shaw. I mean, how do you not get that guy on the field?
Yeah, you really, and that's the thing. I mean, I don't think this team is done. I mean, it's funny because they're really answering a lot of questions, and clearly Matt Shaw is going back to shortstop, or either he's going to be playing second base. Right now, they got him listed as a shortstop as well as Dansby Swanson, but that could just as easily change as him being second base. And now, you do have to wonder what is going to happen with Nico Horner, with the fact that Nico
Mm-hmm.
Horner, I believe, is a free agent next year.
Yep.
And so this is very, very interesting to me now that they've signed Alex Bregman, which we know he's definitely going to play third base. Where does that put Matt Shaw?
Yeah. Now, do you think, which one would you rather have, Nico or Shaw?
You know what? We know who Nico Horner is,
Hmm.
right? I mean, Nico is always going to be a guy that he's a contact hitter, really good glove. You have to ask yourself, I think the better question is who has the better glove? And that's Matt Shaw, it seems to me.
Yeah.
Matt Shaw seems like he has the potential to be a gold glover. And the one thing I do know about hitting, you can become a better hitter if you really work it, if you really put the time in. I know guys that have started out that have struggled in the beginning of their career at the plate, and then was able to turn it around through proper coaching and dedication. So, but I've also seen guys do the, hey, this is what it is. He can't hit. And
Yeah.
so, that is the big worry and the big question with Matt Shaw is because it's like, can he develop his bat to equal his glove? Because I'm gonna tell you, and I don't know how the guy's still in baseball, but that was always Javi Baez's Achilles heel in plate discipline. Plate discipline. When he put the bat on the ball, wow, sizzling. But had too many times chasing pitches that were nowhere near his wheelhouse, and that still hasn't changed his whole career. And
Yep.
if he would have been able to hone that in some type of way, control that, man, we Javi Baez, we'd be talking about probably almost a Hall of Fame career for this dude. And instead, it's just always been up and down for him because of his struggles at the plate. And that's what you don't want Matt Shaw to turn into. You don't want him to turn into a Javi Baez.
No. And I think the difference, at least the way that I look at them as far as hitting, is that Javi always looked to hit the ball out of the park.
Always.
He never wanted to just get that hit, move the runner over, on base, anything like that. And I feel like if they could dig it into Shaw early, like he's really young, to really just be like, hey man, we just need you to put the bat on the ball. We don't care where it goes, just get it out and do something with it. And I feel like going into it with that instead of having this, got to have the long ball, got to have the long ball, have him turn more into an all around hitter that can give you that pop when it's needed, I think is way more important. And that's something where I feel like where Craig Counsell can really kind of dive into because that's the kind of hitter he was.
Yeah. No, you're right. That was the kind of hitter he was. And so it definitely, like I say, I feel like the Cubs are now giving themselves a lot more options, and that's smart. This is what a good organization does. They don't back themselves in a corner. They find a way to have options, and now they've given themselves options with Nico Horner to the point to where, hey, you know what? They don't have to go out and get something that's not good. If they don't get the right trade offer, then they don't worry about it. If they can't work out a contract with them, they don't worry about it because they can just move on. They
Yeah.
have someone else in play. That's a smart move.
Oh yeah.
Like, I like that. And if they are able to get value for him, once again, you've just helped your team. I don't see how in my world, if I'm playing GM, the Cubs don't use Nico Horner to help secure a solid right fielder if they cannot sign one in before the season starts.
Yeah, I mean that's the biggest need now. I don't know, like that's why I was saying with the Bichette deal, I think it gave you more options. I think now, you have to go get that right fielder because Seiya cannot be your everyday right fielder, and I don't trust Ballesteros as a DH or even on this roster. Really, I feel like they should have somebody else up besides him. But I mean, you give Alcantara a chance. He showed some pop and some good fielding. I think going into it with some of these younger players to see what they got, could be the way to work out. Especially since I was just reading that, you know, uh, Bellinger and Tucker are still kind of on the table, but now it's going to be a bidding war. I don't want Kyle Tucker back in Chicago. That's just me.
That's a
I
slippery
didn't.
slope, though, because now we are putting ourselves in the box. If it comes at the right price, what's
Yeah,
wrong with that? Like, what's wrong with it if it comes at the right price?
I just like I said, man, I didn't see it at all last year. You know, it just he had the stints here and there, and I think him playing through injury as much as he did hindered him more than anything, obviously. But I just feel like that's what put a bad taste in my mouth with him is just playing through that injury. I feel like that's a management decision that should have been like, hey, I'm going to sit you down. Let's play Owen Casey. Let's see what he can do. And I felt like, that would have been better for when they got into the playoffs instead of, the kind of showing that we got from him because he just didn't show it to me, especially when they were saying they wanted $400 or $500 million for this guy. Just didn't make sense to me.
No, it was an interesting thing, and maybe that goes into a lot of how it played out with the Owen Casey thing because I think that as we saw them trade Owen Casey away, I think that the idea was that they were trying to make sure that we're going to try to give this guy every opportunity to impress us, maybe, and it's also maybe it was Kyle Tucker's way of trying to, hey, I want to make sure I get a good contract. I'm going to gut through this, but it wasn't a smart move.
Mm-mm.
And I blame both parties in that situation. And maybe that's why it won't happen again because there's probably a degree of anger, probably from Cal Casey's side too, to say, sometimes remember an organization needs to protect a team, you know? And it don't seem like to me the organization really protected Cal Tucker. It just kind of seemed like they were going to try to ride his back after it kind of got to a point where it was maybe obvious that he wasn't going to re-sign with them.
Mm-hmm.
I believe attempts had, or at least I don't know. I'm not gonna say it was obvious he wasn't gonna resign. I think it was obvious he wasn't gonna resign at the price threshold that the Cubs wanted him to resign,
Yeah.
because I do believe contract offers were put out there. I don't buy that. They do not. The tampering is just something funny that they could throw out there to the fans to try to make them think that, hey, we're monitoring this stuff. No, they're not. Agents and GMs talk all the time. They have back channels. They have ways of communicating with each other. And trust me, there's always negotiations going on. Whenever you hear oh, we're not going to negotiate during the season. If you believe that, then you believe pigs can fly.
Yeah.
Okay, this is an agent's job to negotiate his player's contract during the whole time of his career. He doesn't just wait. He's not sitting back like, oh, he's playing now. I could prop my feet up in my office and wait for the season to be done. It's not how this works. Okay, uh, I believe that the contract was thrown out there, and he's like, no, I don't. Nope, that's not me. That's not what I'm doing. I don't want that. And the Cubs at that point was like, well, then we gave up they gave up a very key prospect for him,
Mm-hmm.
in the hopes that they would not have gave up that prospect if they didn't believe they were going to re-sign Kyle Tucker. The problem is that Kyle Tucker, I believe, thought that he was going to fleece the Cubs. He felt like because you gave up this top prospect, I've got you over a barrel. Where if you don't re-sign me, you got to live with the fact that you gave away a top prospect for me to be a 1-year rental. And I think that the Cubs took that dare and said, fine, you
Yeah.
know what? We can find someone else. Yeah, we did give up a top prospect to bring you in, but we've got more top prospects in our pen. And obviously for them to trade away Owen Casey as well tells me that they do have they there's no way if you don't have a plan in right field, then you definitely let Kyle Tucker bend you over the barrel and fleece you for as much money as he possibly could get. They clearly don't feel that way. They clearly don't feel like their backs are against the wall at that position, especially for them to trade Owen Casey to get much needed starting pitching. And they valued starting pitching more than that position. They valued the money more than giving Cal Tucker that money at that position. So clearly the Cubs aren't valuing right field as much as everyone else is.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it as a way to have a complete lineup. I like going into where who's going to be there every day, who's going to do what. There was that period of time when we would see the Cubs lineup change every other day, every third game. It was people just getting shuffled around, and there was just no continuity. And I just, I would love to have something solidified to where that's where everybody's going to be. I just hate the guessing games.
Well, right now they've got uh, Alcantara listed at right field currently, and Seiya Suzuki at right field, who we know is really more of a DH. And I like how we were talking about, me and you were discussing this last week. I think that he's really settled into that role quite well, and I just want him to continue to excel at that role. But it is nice that he can give a spell here and there at right field, and maybe that is maybe that is their route. And I don't, is that a bad thing if they give Alcantara a shot? I don't think it is. I think he's shown some pop in his bat, and you know what? If this guy, they believe in their young talent, they believe in developing their players. And it's worked so far, even though they didn't draft Pete Crow Armstrong, he still came up in their farm. He still came up and finished out in their farm system to crack it to the MLB. Um, and a lot of guys on their roster have been, homegrown. You got to give them credit for that they have shown the ability to develop.
Oh yeah.
And so I mean, if Alcantara is with it, how they're gonna go with it, and that's what they decide to stick with. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna say the team's not complete, because you know what, they decided to roll the dice last year with Shaw at third base, and you know what, they still were able to get into the playoffs, and they took the Brewers to the fifth game. Um, so they lost to the Brewers, but it wasn't like the Brewers swept them, ran through. No, that was a fight. It was a dog fight down to the end.
Hmm.
So I mean, if they ultimately don't end up signing someone, I'm gonna be okay with it, because I think that they have made the team more complete by adding Bregman and adding starting pitching and the Suarez. Yeah, right. I don't want to
Hmm.
say that name wrong. Yeah, I want to make sure I got that right. I don't want to be saying a new guy on the roster name wrong. Like, yeah, I ain't trying to go out like that. So no, they've done well.
Yeah.
Very well, and I'm very pleased. I'm very pleased with their moves so far. And like I said, this is kind of shocking, because I mean, literally like just 2 weeks ago, I didn't know what direction they were headed in. Oh, I'm sorry, not so I called it Edward Cabrera. That's who they traded for. Yeah, I mean, it was kind of like what's going on? What are they gonna do? And then like the next thing you know, bam, they've gone and they've really put the chips in, and this team is better, a lot better than they were a month ago.
Yeah.
My Cal Tucker, no Cal Tucker, this team is better.
Oh yeah, I agree. And it's just we'll see what happens in spring training. Hopefully those stars align, and then the other team on the south side, you know, maybe they could do something too.
Well, you know what? That that's gonna be interesting. I'm gonna be waiting to see. They've gotten some really young, good talent to really kind of come in on this roster, and that's what to, to be a good team. That's what it has to be. There was just basically was what's hampered this team, and where they end up falling into despair is they just had a lot of unmotivated guys on their team, or unprofessional guys on the team. And yeah, I said it, unprofessional. That's what a lot of these guys were when they were on the Sox. They were unprofessional and didn't seem like they were interested in playing, or staying healthy enough to play. And you know, this team just became bottom feeders. And
Hmm.
so it's nice to see that they've gotten young talent in again to kind of really put some juice back in this franchise, and hopefully this young talent can develop into a couple superstars, and that's what you need to really make your team become something special.
Yeah. Only time will tell.
So only time will tell indeed. I mean, let me tell you, only time will tell. It's just something about these Reinsdorf franchises. You know, I mean, the Bulls size just it's. But
That's a discussion for another day, man.
that's a discussion for another day. But I mean, the thing about it though, it with the in baseball, the reason why I am really pleased because there, there- there's a lot of teams, man, that it's so hard to win a MLB championship because there's just not three teams, four teams out there going. Man, there's like I'm looking at the top teams right now that have been making moves since winter meetings, and you got the Dodgers potentially could win World Series. Atlanta Braves have been there before, and their team took a step back, but are looking like they're rising right back to their normal self of being one of the elite teams in the National League. Seattle Mariners, who just missed playing in the World Series. Toronto Blue Jays, who were in the World Series, very good team. Philadelphia Phillies, great team. Re-signing Kyle Schwarber, smart move.
Mm-hmm.
In play, definitely a World Series contender. New York Yankees, World Series contender. They have the roster. If they could stay healthy, put it together, they were in the World Series the year before.
Yep.
The New York Mets. New York Mets are a good team, and their owner is hell bent on trying to buy the New York Mets a championship, which just makes them a dangerous team because they've got a loaded roster. They just do. Now, there's been a lot of things that have for some reason it hasn't come together for all the talent that they've collected, but they have talent, definitely enough talent to be considered a World Series contender. Chicago Cubs, World Series contender. The Boston Braves. Now this is 9 teams now that I've hit on. Boston Braves, Boston Red Sox. Boston Red Sox are in the same vein too. Boston Red Sox, I would consider them a World Series contender, even though they just lost Alex Bregman in free agency. I still think that they have a lot of talent on that team, and they've got a very good pitching rotation led by Garrett Crochet. Detroit Tigers. Now this is where it starts to get, could is Detroit, are they World Series contenders? I'll tell you what, they definitely have the potential to make the playoffs, and anytime you make the dance, man,
Yeah.
anytime you make the dance, you have a chance. Houston Astros have been uh, a World Series contender for probably about the last 7 years. And they've lost some players, guys have moved, but I'll tell you what, they still have a solid core of talent, and I would not consider them a team that couldn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I still think that they need more pieces. They need something, but that look at one of the years when they won the World Series, people weren't necessarily really picking Houston to do it, and they came up and won. And then the Milwaukee Brewers, who beat the
Oh,
Cubs in the playoffs last year,
and they always seem to
and
find a way.
they always seem to find a way. They didn't make the World Series, but man, you know what? They beat the Dodgers right there. They're representing the World Series. So those are the top to me 12 teams in baseball that have a chance to win the World Series. And then you have, you know, teams on the outside looking in like the Orioles, the Padres, who have, tried to do any and everything to bring in a solid staff, and just still for some reason doesn't seem like they can get over the hump as they lost in the playoffs to the Cubs, but they did. They made the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, if you can make the playoffs, that gives you a chance. After that, then it's to me teams that I don't see it. Kansas City Royals, no.
Mm-mm.
Texas Rangers, who are now a few years removed from a championship, it just kind of seems like since that championship, their franchise is just step back, step back, step back, step back, rather than going forward. And so, yeah, I do not consider them a World Series contender anymore.
Okay.
Arizona Diamondbacks, they're a weird team because
They got
They
talent.
play hard, man. They've got
Yeah.
talent. They win games.
Mm-hmm.
They win games, but I wouldn't consider them a World Series contender as well. And then we got the Giants, 18th, not contenders. Minnesota, no, and the Reds. And so those are the top 20 teams in baseball. And so I think it really for championship contenders, like I said, I think it kind of falls off at 12, the Milwaukee Brewers.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good top 12 to, bring in and have competitive baseball. So I'm good with that.
Yeah, no, I think that those teams right there have really stood out, really pushed their chips in a lot more than everybody else, and has put their franchises in a position to contend for the World Series. And it's just nice that you know what, hey, us being homers, Chicago Cub homers, it's nice to see that the Cubs are in that mix because, like I said, it's hard to win a World Series in baseball. There hasn't been a back-to-back championship in what 20 years.
Yep.
Oh no, actually, I'm taking that back. No, the
Yeah.
Dodgers just did
The
it.
Dodgers did. Yeah.
The Dodgers just did it. This is the first time it
It's
had
like
been done.
it's like they're just like a super team, so I just kind of
Right.
overlook them sometimes.
Exactly. But that's the thing is it's the first time it's been done in like 20 something. It was like 20 something years. And it took and look what it took to get that done. It took a super team to
Mm-hmm.
win back-to-back titles in Major League Baseball. And it came down to a game 7. It wasn't like this title was handed to them. It took every ounce of all of that loaded roster talent to win that second championship. And I do not think it's going to be a third one.
Yep.
I think they'll have I think they'll have a great season. They have the best player in baseball, but man, a three-peat, I ain't seeing it.
Well, I don't want to see it. That's my thing. I like when new
Oh
people
yeah.
come in. I love when new blood comes in and takes the championship. Just makes the competition that much more better, and it's more enjoyable to watch, especially when it's not even your teams in it. Just to be able to see other teams make it. I mean, that's what sports are about to me.
You know what I like about the Dodgers? I like that they push other franchises
Yep.
to have to be great. It pushes the Cubs to have to make sure they have a complete roster. It pushes the Philadelphia Phillies to say, hey, you know what? We do have to go out and re-sign Kyle Schwarber. It pushes the Toronto Blue Jays to have made sure that they re-sign their homegrown talent, Vlad Guerrero at Jr. It pushes these teams to say, hey, if we want to win a World Series, we got to compete with that team.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what the Padres have been doing, trying to push as much money into that team as they can.
And you know what? I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the team trying, giving, and doing any and everything possible to make sure that you're in a position to win the World Series championship. And that's been I think the biggest issue for a lot of us in Chicago about the Cubs is that sometimes we're not really sure if ownership is all in
Mm-hmm.
on winning a championship.
Oh yeah.
All right, I'm getting myself adjusted back in my seat, man. Oh, this is great. Oh my God, this is the way we kick off a show right here. Once again, if you just joined and if you've been with us, thank you. This is Unfiltered Sports, 2 hour show we do live with Mac and Cal, and this is what we do. We bring you guys the unfiltered truth. We've covered so far. We've talked about the college football playoffs. Now we just got done breaking down the huge, one of the biggest signings so far in the off season with the Chicago Cubs signing Alex Bregman to their team, and it came really in a like weird. This is awesome day news. You know, it was
Yeah.
almost kind of like it's almost kind of like someone gives you a birthday cake and then they turn around and they put on top of this your favorite birthday cake, they turn around and put ice cream on top of it with caramel and a couple cherries. I mean, like because the thing about it is that wasn't even the biggest news in Chicago.
Yep.
Alex, it almost was kind of like a side note. It was like, oh yeah, and by the way, the Cubs signed Alex Bregman. You
Oh yeah.
know, because and if you don't know what I'm referencing, then you clearly will asleep this weekend. Because let me tell you, wow, the NFL playoffs, Cal, wow.
Oh, I know, man. One of the best
Dude,
weekends of college or playoff football that I've seen in a long
I'm
time.
I'm sitting in my custom Bears jacket. It's got my name on it. Got my sleeves all decorated, man. You know why? Because them boys showed up and showed out in that fourth quarter. And we're gonna talk about all the games out there. So I'm not gonna jump the gun and get in. We'll save that juicy part for a little bit. What I want to start out with was the first game that was played to open up the NFL playoffs, and this was a thrilling one as well, which a lot of people were not expecting, but it didn't catch me by surprise. And that was the Carolina Panthers versus the LA Rams. Carolina Panthers were at home, and I've said it over and over and over again, Cal. It is hard to win on the road in the NFL.
Oh
And
yeah.
if you needed any more proof, you got that proof in that first opening game.
Mm-hmm.
And the man, and I'm telling you, it was at one point, I'm sitting here watching this game and I'm going, Carolina's about to beat the Rams.
Yep. I felt the
Like
same
I'm
way.
I'm seeing, I'm looking at the energy, the flow. Stafford had hurt his finger. It clearly had changed the way he was playing and making plays. Um, and Carolina just kept, seeming to just stick around, even though they made some mistakes. They looked like a new young team in the playoffs. They kept finding a way to make little plays, and when they took that lead in the fourth quarter, I said, "Whoa, what's happening here?"
Oh, I
And
know.
I thought for a second, and like for just a second, I said, "Man, are the Rams in trouble?" But then I'm like, "Okay, hold on, wait a minute. Matthew Stafford's about to get the ball back, and I know that not only is Matthew Stafford a good quarterback. Here's the thing that's kind of gotten lost about Matthew Stafford that I remember from his days in Detroit. Matthew Stafford has always had an amazing ability to make comeback plays in the fourth quarter. He is a
Mm-hmm.
clutch guy. That's why the Rams brought him there to this team. The guy doesn't fold in the fourth. He doesn't fold under pressure, and he showed that resilience in that moment where this team is down. And then you heard what Devontae Adams said. He came in the huddle and said, "All right, let's go take these guys' heart."
Yeah.
That right there is why the Rams won that game,
Oh yeah.
because they got a baller at the quarterback position. And because I'm going to tell you right now, the Panthers wasn't playing around, brother. The
No, not
Panthers
at all.
came to win that. The Panthers came to win that game,
Yeah.
and I was not surprised. I was not surprised.
Well, I'm going to be one of the people that was going into it thinking it was going to be a steamroll. I thought for sure the Rams come in and
A
just
lot of
just
people were.
dominated, man. And especially that first drive,
Mm-hmm.
that they had where you just he hits Nakua right away, and I'm like, oh, here we go. And then you
Yep.
saw Carolina start creeping up, and then they get the touchdown, but then what happens again? They go right back down, and Nakua scores again, and it
Mm.
just seemed like, and it looked like a pattern this weekend, and we'll get into it on how the script kind of was flipping at halftime in almost every game this weekend. And Puka forgot how to catch. They weren't getting the ball out after the line of scrimmage with the run. And then you started seeing Carolina just start creeping and creeping and creeping. And then they score. And then when they took the lead, I was like, man, this might be the biggest upset in the playoffs right now, with
Yes.
a division winner taking out the wild card, but the wild card had the better record. But it was just something that was just churning, and you saw the stadium, and that was another thing too.
Mm-hmm.
That stadium was alive, and then you can't sell out Stafford. He came
No.
in, they gave him too much time, and he goes, "Okay, I'm going to end this," and he did. And then that final
Yeah.
drive with Carolina, you saw you saw their youth and inexperience, and that's how the game ended. But I mean, I just thought, especially the way that Carolina came into it, I was very impressed with them and their coaching.
No, you know what? Now here's the sneaky caveat. A lot of people didn't know this. If you maybe didn't follow the whole NFL season, if you missed it somehow because it kind of happened like under the radar in a way. Carolina had beat the Rams
Mm-hmm.
uh in the latter part of the season. The Rams came to Carolina and got beat. Everybody was like, oh, you know what? Those games happen sometimes. Sometimes you go on the road and you lose, and everybody's like, yeah, that's right. Yeah, sometimes it happens. That doesn't, Rams are still right there. And then all of a sudden, what you learned was that was not a fluke. And that's why that stadium was so alive because they had already seen this team do this before. And there was a belief there. And the thing that the Rams have leaned on a lot this season, and people have given them a lot of credit for having did not show up for them, and that's their defense.
Mm-hmm.
They had been all season. Everyone has said that the Rams have one of the top 5 defenses in the NFL. The Rams defense is ferocious. The Rams defense is one to be is one you got to contend with, and the Rams defense was nowhere to be found in that fourth quarter when the Panthers started clicking. Well, just even the second half period when the
Yeah.
Panthers started clicking, the Rams defense wilted. You look at this game here in the fourth quarter. Sorry about that. Hold it. Sorry about that. In the fourth quarter, Carolina scored 14 points.
Yeah.
Carolina scored 17 points in the second half alone. They had only scored 14 points in the first half, and it all came in the second quarter. So really, what you saw was that the Rams defense, once they really started getting in, once Carolina started getting into the game and figuring them out, Carolina started taking it to the wood to them because
Mm-hmm.
the only quarter that the Carolina's offense didn't score was the first quarter. And really what it ended up turning into at that point was that it forced the Rams offense into a shootout with
Yeah.
the Panthers. And you know what? I'll tell you, I love games like that. Yeah, I do love defense. Defense wins championships, but I do also love when it can become a back and forth, and that's what it ended up turning into. Like you said, that first quarter, it opens up. Rams open up on this like, oh boy, this don't look good. And the next thing you know, Carolina is scratching and fighting with them. They go into halftime at 17-14. Wow, what's going on here? I thought Carolina was supposed to be, getting their doors blowed off. What's going on there? Next thing you know, we get into the third. They're matching with them. Both teams scored 3 points. What's happening? They can't pull away from this Panthers team. And like you said, the next thing you know, we look up and the Panthers have the lead. And
Yeah.
I'm like, wow. But I'll tell you what, the throw was good from Stafford to Parkinson for that
Mm-hmm.
for the go ahead touchdown. The pass was good, but that catch was
Yes.
amazing.
Oh yeah.
That catch, that and I don't even, that's the type of catch that sometimes you're just reacting.
Mm-hmm.
You're just reacting. You're not necessarily knowing what you're gonna do. Your body motion is just gone through practice. You've practiced these things so many times over and over again that it's just an automatic rep in your head because there's no way that he had enough time to think in his head, catch this ball, keep my feet in bounds, turn around, and make sure I stay inside the pylon. It just, he goes up, he catches it, and I just think that it's just muscle memory, automatic turn for the goal line. And in doing that, he falls into the end zone because he was like, look, almost like 5 yards
Yeah, it
out of
was
the
about
end zone,
4 yards,
away
yeah,
from the end
4
zone when
yards.
he
Yeah.
caught the ball. But by the time his body turns around and as he's falling forward, he falls forward right into the end zone, gets in. His knee actually hits at the goal line, so it was no question that he had crossed the pylon for a touchdown. And that was just an amazing grab to seal the victory.
Oh yeah. You know, taking nothing away from the Rams, there was a couple things that really stood out for me on the Panthers side, man, and that was I would say the emergence of Jalen Coker. That dude coming in, undrafted free agent, rookie free agent, and just taking over that number 2 wide receiver spot from Leggett, and just really being, I think, a really good weapon for Bryce Young for years to come, man. Him and Ted McMillan, I think that's something that could be special for years to come, and made me see that the Panthers, if they add a couple more pieces, especially in the division they're in down in the west, in the South, I mean, they could take control of that pretty quickly.
No, you're right. You're definitely right. They could definitely take control of that really quickly.
And I was really shocked, and I really liked, if you saw there was a post game press conference with the Panthers coach, and that reporter just praised him for everything they did this year,
Oh
and just
my goodness. You know what, Cal? Let's get into that, my
okay,
brother. Let's get into that in a second. Check the messages really quick for me. I want you to see that, and we're gonna, and like I said, we're gonna talk about that because I got a very big opinion
okay,
upon that. But yeah, like I said, I just want you to continue. You can continue carrying things, joining right back shortly.
okay. Yeah, like I said, just keep going with the way that the Panthers really shocked me. I went into it thinking these Rams are going to dominate, and then seeing the emergence of Chuba Hubbard coming in and making his presence known, Bryce Young really taking a step up in his game from where I thought him coming out of Alabama that he just was not going to emerge as a really good starting quarterback in the NFL, and just proving to me that with some good coaching and some better players around you, you could really open up and really take a step forward in this team. And like I said, I'm just very proud of him, and I'm just happy that that was a good game to watch, and it wasn't one of those 42 to nothing kind of blowouts, which I was kind of expecting. And see that you know here we go again. Here comes another team taking over and just moving into another area. What do we got here in the chat? Will Stafford retire? I don't see Stafford retiring this year, especially, they make it to the playoffs. They're in the playoffs. If they go to the big dance again and he wins, no, I don't see that happening. I see the Rams, drafting a young quarterback maybe in the first or second round and giving him another year or two to sit and learn behind Stafford. That's a big book of knowledge right there, just sitting there for the taking, and you just got to take it with you and just learn from the best and increase the Rams, ability to just keep on continuously winning.
Yeah, no, very well put, and thank you for that, my brother. Small little technical difficulty. I'm back in the game. Like I said before, I had to briefly step away. We were moving and talking about that other playoff game that happened between the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Buffalo Bills, and you referenced about the reporter that sent out what I thought was amazing praise to a first year head coach uh, that did an excellent job. Yeah, let's remember here the Jacksonville Jaguars had the number 2 pick in the draft. They're the number 2 pick in the draft. Think about that, Cal.
Mm-hmm.
And here they were, the number 3 seed in the playoffs. And oh, by the way, that number 2 pick got hurt for the season. I don't understand what was the outrage and what that reporter said to him. You know, Cal, I've actually been in these uh reporters meetings when with athletes, and coaches at the podium, um, the press conference, as you might want to call it. And for the fact that people would say, oh, that was unprofessional, and you're taking time away from people that are doing that. First off, she's an accredited journalist. Let's get that understood. Let's get that out the way. She's an accredited journalist. She gets paid to do her job. She's very well respected in the Jacksonville sports community. So she is first. She's a homer. First off, she's a reporter. They're covering the team probably in a way a lot way more intimate than the national media that's there. For most of these games, you have to remember that at these podiums, most of the time it is just local media there covering these players and the coaches. And then now you're in the playoffs, and now you're in this national scene. We don't know what her interactions has been like with Liam Cohen throughout the season. So that's people got need to understand. First off, we have no idea of their relationship. And if she wanted to take some time to praise him for a good season, I didn't see nothing wrong with that. And I don't understand why a lot of pundits and sports journalists did have a problem with
I didn't see a problem with it either. I mean, I think it's nice to actually have that kind of interaction, especially at the end of the season, to be able to give their praise and their thanks, and just saying that they, wish them well. I don't see what's the harsh, things that come from that other than, hey, maybe there's some just nice people out there and they just wanted to wish them the best because they were happy with what they saw.
What was wrong with being nice to him?
Yeah.
That's what's so funny to me. It's like, what's wrong with just because you're there as a journalist, because you got a job to do, just because you're there to write a story, does not give you the right to rip the coach apart. And he just lost a tough game. This was 27-24, another exciting, thrilling football game where Josh Allen had to put his Superman cape on to win. Because once again, it's another game that I'm looking at and I'm going, man, McDermott's job might be in trouble. Like Jacksonville came to play, and
Mm-hmm.
they were fighting tooth and nail with Buffalo at halftime. It was 10-7, and I'm sitting there going, man, Buffalo's got their hands full. And it comes down to that end of the game, and Josh Allen has to carry the team to victory. This coach is clearly, he wanted to win, thought he could win. They were at home, tough, emotional game. What's wrong with it? What's wrong with a little kindness towards the guy? I didn't see anything. She didn't sit there glowing over him, and all she simply did was told him keep his head up.
Mm-hmm.
He had did an amazing job, an amazing season. And you know what? I didn't see it because everything that she said actually was true. What did she say that was false? What did she say that deserved to have ridicule or for people to feel like she was being unprofessional? Unprofessional would have been sitting there saying, coddling him or something like, "Oh, it's okay, baby. It's okay that you lose. You'll get." No, she didn't say nothing like that. She thanked him for putting together an impressive season. She told him keep his head up. Duval, you're the one. That to me is just a local reporter showing love to a team that she clearly loves to cover.
Oh yeah. And speaking about, Josh Allen taking the team on his back, I feel like he was put in the push of the century at the end of that game. I mean, going on that 4th and 1 and getting a 10-yard gain, almost getting a touchdown. So talking about putting him on top of his O-line's back in that moment.
It looks like we might be having a guest too, hopefully here. I think
Yeah,
Freddie might be jumping in with us. So if you get the chance, Freddie, please do jump on in with us.
yeah.
As once again, this is Unfiltered Sports with Mac and Cal in the inaugural show. As we got it going on, and there is the man, the myth, the legend himself,
What's up,
Mister
gentlemen?
Freddie Gibbs. What up, brother?
I just had to hop on here, man. I'm just hearing y'all little kumbaya moments. I'm hearing it. I'm hearing it. I love it. I love it. I mean, kudos to the reporter for being sweet, but I mean, I can see why she was acting that way, and I can see why people have a problem too. I mean, gentlemen,
Okay, give me that side of it. Give me the
let let
side of it of what was the problem.
let's not sit up here and act like this is a once in a lifetime moment right now. I mean, the Jaguars have been pretty bad recently, especially since the last time they had the cornerback of Jalen Ramsey years back ago. That was the last time they've been relevant. I mean, there's a lot of teams right now that's going to be feeling some type of way. You have no Patrick Mahomes, you have no Lamar Jackson, no Joe Burrow, no Dallas Cowboys, none of these teams in their way. I mean, well, hold on, I said one thing wrong. The Cowboys haven't been relevant in the last 30 years, so they haven't been in nobody's way in a long time.
The Cowboys are a franchise.
but but I must say, I mean, I can see why people are upset. They're like, hey, we don't care about no first round pick. We drafted Trevor Lawrence a few years ago, number one pick to be the savior. And this is the first time that he showed us that he has a pulse. This is the first time that showed that he's alive. We've seen all these young quarterbacks come in the league and made quicker impacts. We're looking at Caleb Williams down there in Chicago, quicker impact. Jordan Love down there in Green Bay, quicker impact. I mean, Lord Almighty, even Purdy down there in San Francisco. So if I'm the Jacksonville Jaguar, hey, you blew an amazing opportunity. And hey, Jacksonville has been hot. They've looked good. They look good. And Trevor Lawrence have looked the last couple of weeks of the season, arguably one of the best quarterbacks in that stretch in the last couple of weeks of the season. I get that. But they blew an amazing opportunity.
Did they blow it though, or did they just get beat by the better man? Because we're talking about the second best quarterback in the NFL. Probably this season, he definitely was one of the, if not still, the best quarterback in the NFL. Him and Patrick Mahomes have been battling for that title probably for about the last 5 years, and with Mahomes going down with injury this year, Josh Allen is still that dude. Josh Allen is still the best quarterback in the NFL. If you get beat by him, how can you say you dropped the ball? You got beat by the better man. It wasn't like they got beat by some backup off the street that ain't been doing. Josh Allen's been doing this. He didn't just start doing this. This is something Josh Allen's been doing. So
You know how
Jacksonville
you can
just
say that?
got it. Hmm?
You know how you can say that? I can say that because football is not a one man show.
Ah,
It's a 53 man roster.
okay.
It takes everybody. We've been saying all year that this Buffalo Bills team is not the same team of years past. They have not
No.
loaded like they was previously. But guess
Hmm.
what? This is definitely a game that the Jacksonville Jaguars should have won because they have more talent. They were more hot. They hot at the right time. So I'm not giving them a pass. No sir, no way. Hey, I'm loving what Unfiltered Sports with Megan Kyle is doing, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you tune in every Monday at 5 p.m. Central. It's going to get even better from going here. But hey, I'm here to let you know this is Freddie Facts. And when Freddie Facts come on the scene, I'm bringing nothing but facts, my brother. And I'm
We
bringing
love that.
facts.
We
Hey, I
love
just
that.
had to
That's
hop
what that's
on.
what
I'm
we
going to hop
love.
on. I just had to hop on. I'm going to hop off and let you guys continue to do what you do.
Man, Freddie, you join us anytime you want, and you brought. I mean that is another nice flip side to it that I do have to give credit to in terms of, yeah, should Jacksonville have closed the door? Yes, but I'm I mean, I've seen it so many times in the NFL where that better quarterback wins. That better quarterback wins. He finds a way. We saw it. We saw it with Stafford in the Rams. The better quarterback beat the Panthers. Bryce Young is coming up. He's got a lot of talent. He's got a lot of skill, but Matt Stafford is still that dude. And so is Josh Allen.
Well,
Josh
we gotta
Allen
give
is still that dude.
hold on now, hold on. See, I'm a native LA guy, so I'm gonna tell you. Yeah, Matthew Stafford, he did his thing, but we also had to give credit to the Rams defense. As bad as they looked that whole game, they stepped up when they needed to make a play.
Mhm.
They made Bryce Young look short as he is. They made him look short. I mean, he's
they pinned them ears in that last sequence. They pinned their ears back, and you know what? Not since my man that retired, was Aaron Donald. I hadn't seen a pass rush that ferocious on a quarterback for a last sequence of a game in a long time. I mean, he literally, like, I think the last 3-4 passes he threw, he didn't even hit a target because that line, like you said, that whole game they seemed to be sleepwalking. But in that last sequence, man, the lion woke up.
But I must admit, me as a Rams fan, I'm very afraid. I'm very, very afraid because I think Shannon Sharp or somebody said this. If you play with your food, hey, somebody can come back and get you. And the Rams have been playing with their food for the tail end of the season. They have not looked like the same Rams team. I always say when you go into the playoffs, everybody's 0-0. It don't matter what you did in the regular season. It don't matter about Matthew Stafford being MVP. It's your 0-0. And the Rams have been playing with their food. Yes, I know Devontae Adams was hurt. Yes, I know all of those things. But there's no way in hell that the Rams should have been down to the Panthers. And credit to the Panthers had a good season.
Yeah.
They had a good season. But if you are that elite team, you go in and take care of your business in the playoff time. I don't want to hear that about me being on the road. I don't want to hear that. You are the lost.
You know it's hard. You know it's hard to win on the road.
No, not for superior teams.
Yeah, you know what? That is actually true.
A team like that should have came in and dominated right away. And it just showed that they weren't either. They kind of were overlooking them and kind of just going through the motions. Especially in that second half when Puka didn't know how to catch a ball for like the first half of the third quarter. It just was bouncing off of him like he had stone hands.
And guess what? That wasn't Puka's fault. That because Matthew Stafford, he did this with Cooper Kupp when he was there. When he finds somebody that he loves to, he's going to feed them the ball. Well, normally you have Devontae Adams catching a lot of stuff, but guess what? Devontae, him being out a couple of weeks, he was rusty, and you could definitely tell because he was missing passes. He never missed. He never dropped. But it's about the hottest team in the NFL. So this is why you guys should have some hope. This is what make you guys surprised. This would make you feel like you should pat your chest, make you stick it out a little bit longer because right now, ladies and gentlemen, Chicago Bears, they're peaking. They're peaking. But hey, I'm going to leave on that note. I'm going to let y'all cover that, but y'all are peaking at the right time. All right, gentlemen.
Yes, sir. All right, Freddie. Salute to you, sir. That was Mr. Freddie himself coming and joining us. We appreciate it, man. Always here on Unfiltered Sports with Mac and Kyle. We're going to have more guests. That's the nice part about this. We're going to have more people joining. I know I'm definitely going to get my friend and brother from another mother, Mr. Robert Little, to come join us probably later on in a couple weeks. He's going to hop on and he's going to talk some unfiltered sports with us. You always want to hear his opinion. He's got some great things to say. And I think that was a perfect segue that Freddie kind of led us into, which was that third playoff game. As we're going to have, the third playoff game that was played because it ended up being Patriots and the Chargers ended up playing, I believe, after this game, right? No, Patriots Chargers played. The Patriots Chargers played yesterday. The Patriots Chargers played on Sunday, so this was the last game. This was on Saturday. This was the final game. That was a Saturday night game, and wow, what a game!
Oh yeah,
what a game! What a game! What a game! What a game, my friend. Just to say thrilling, exciting, breathtaking. What adjective do you want to use to describe this? Go ahead. Yeah, I mean, let's throw it out there because heartbreaking, soul stealing. I mean,
Hmm.
man, I'm literally sitting here. And Cal, I'm watching this game, and it's getting late, and I'm holding on because I had some obligations in the morning that I needed to do, but I needed to get the rest. But I'm like, man, I know this team. I know this team is it's not over.
Hmm.
I knew it. I'm sitting there watching this game, and the Bears look dead in the water. Understand at halftime, the score is 21-3. We're talking about all these other games and how going into halftime, both teams are contending with each other. They're going neck and neck. This game, it's 21-3. The Green Bay Packers looked unstoppable. Jordan Love is just flicking the ball all over the football field. Nobody's touching him. He's gotten enough time to knit a sweater, buy a car, pay a couple bills, and then throw the football.
Yep.
Josh Jacobs is running all over the Bears. Every time he gets the football, it looks like he's getting 5 to 6 yards a carry. The Bears seem to have no answers. They're just taking these big, long, massive drives, and they're scoring touchdowns. They're not getting field goals. They're scoring touchdowns. And the Bears just look completely discombobulated.
Oh, yeah.
And even in that moment, I remember texting you. And what did I say? I said, we know this game ain't over.
Oh, I know. But then you also sent me another text when they went for it when the Bears went for it on 4th and 1 and they missed it, and you said it's over.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, my emotions are so because I'm freaking out. I hate those going for it on 4th down, but I also understand it. Now, mind you, like I told you, I had to get up early. So
Mhm.
I eventually had to let it go. And I said, fine. But as soon as I got a little bit of sleep under the belt, I wake up and the first thing I have to do is check.
Yeah.
And I look down and I see the final score. And you know what? I wasn't shocked at all. I wasn't shocked at all because this is what Caleb Williams does. This is what he does. This dude, he has that Michael Jordan gene. That's right. I said it here on Unfiltered Sports. Caleb Williams has the Michael Jordan gene. Everyone has been looking for the next Michael Jordan to return to the Bulls. He's not on the Bulls. He wears number 18 and he plays for the Chicago Bears. This dude, Caleb Iceman Williams, is something different in the fourth quarter. This
Yeah.
guy can look completely lost for 3 quarters of football. And here's the thing. Now it wasn't just that there's more context in me sending that text saying that is because it wasn't just the 4th and 1. Caleb had thrown 2 interceptions at that point. I don't
Yes.
think Caleb had thrown 2 interceptions his whole career in a game.
It's the second
And
time.
this is the second time in his career.
Yeah.
The second time in his career that he thrown 2 interceptions in a game. So at this point, it's just like, man, all the momentum is against the Bears, even to the point where they get the strip fumble and Javon Dexter hits the ball and it goes out of bounds and goes back to the Packers. You're sitting there going, oh my God, the Bears, nothing is going their way. But the fourth quarter, this dude, he becomes different and it makes the team become different.
Yeah.
When he made that 4th down pass to Roma Doomsday in the air, Cole Kmet said they knew they were going to win that game.
Yeah.
That's the type of inspiration he gives to this team. Like Freddie referenced and said, when you talk about that dude, when you talk about a clutch, it can't be taught. That's just it. Like, okay, Trevor Lawrence, you could get on him if you want. You could say, yeah, he should have won. But man, look, there's only so many players in the NFL, period. And that's what I was trying to get Freddie to understand. Josh Allen has that clutch gene.
Yep.
Matthew Stafford has that clutch gene. Patrick Mahomes has that clutch gene. Jalen Hurts, who crazy enough doesn't have their talent, but he has their clutch gene. And that right there is what we're looking at with Caleb Williams. He is born with that clutch gene, and I'm telling you, that is something special.
Looks like we got Greg again.
I just have a question. A few years ago, when Josh Allen played against Patrick Mahomes, what happened?
He played against Patrick Mahomes. That's what happened. He played against Patrick Mahomes.
Somebody has a few extra clutch genes than the other at the time.
Than the other. And look, I'm gonna tell you like this: Patrick Mahomes still, and it ain't nobody gonna be challenging no time soon. We'll have to see what Caleb's career is. But at this moment, there's only one quarterback, in my opinion, that has been better than Patrick Mahomes, and that's the man that's wearing 7 rings and talking on TV now, and that's Mr. Tom Brady. Nobody else has even touched the surface of Patrick Mahomes' talent and ability at quarterback.
Whoa! Now hold on, you being disrespectful now. Now, if you're talking about accomplishments, okay, I bow down, brother. It's nothing I can say. But if we're talking about talent, we have somebody.
No, that's what I am talking. I'm talking about accomplishments. No, yeah, talent wise, no. Dan Marino could spin the peel. John Elway could spin the peel. Peyton Manning could spin the peel. But that to me isn't enough. That to me isn't enough. You gotta win it in the big moments.
Well,
you gotta win it in the big moments.
Brother, I disagree, brother.
Why?
Because we have a quarterback that's playing now that I can tell you that was more talented than Patrick Mahomes in his heyday. And we talking about Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers.
No, you'll never get that from us. You'll never get that from us, sir. You'll never get that from us, sir. No, you will not. You're making a big mistake there. You have stepped into wrong territory trying to talk about a Green Bay Packer. Yes, please go ahead.
Is this maybe the reason why the Chicago Bears have a little bit of success right now? Is because that man is not down there in Green Bay anymore? Is that the reason? Could that be the reason?
Well, it's a part of it, but let me put it to you like this. If he was playing in his heyday with this kid that we got now, he'd be in trouble. Because I'm going to tell you right now, oh, man, Jay Cutler was on a bike when we played them in the NFC Championship. Freddie, what are you talking about?
You know why?
Jay Cutler was on a bike. If Jay Cutler is playing in that game, the Bears win, and they go to the Super Bowl instead of the Packers.
You know why y'all don't have a chance? Because y'all was up in the fourth quarter. Am I correct? Green Bay was up in the fourth quarter. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Now, how many points were they up in the fourth quarter?
What are you talking about in this game?
Yes.
In this game, Green Bay in the fourth quarter, it was 6. It was 6 at that point to 27. The Bears had to score 25 points.
At that point, do you think Aaron Rodgers is going to give up that big of a lead in the fourth quarter?
Well, you can't. All right, if you talk about Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love, Aaron Rodgers has that gene. Okay, I will say that.
Yeah,
Aaron Rodgers has that gene, and I don't think. Hang on. But when you look at him compared to Jordan Love, Aaron Rodgers, I hate to say this, would have been able to close out that game.
100%.
Possibly.
He has more potential to close out that game.
Yes, he does.
Because you cannot. Jordan Love is not Aaron Rodgers' status. He hasn't shown that.
What is Jordan Love's biggest notch on him? Knock on him. He make bad plays. He's a gunslinger. He don't mind slinging the ball.
He's not clutch.
But at times he can be reckless with the football. That's not Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers.
Well, I'm gonna push back on that though.
41, Mac. Even at age 41, this dude got 28 touchdowns and only have 7 or 8 interceptions at 41.
I'm not saying he wasn't good. I'm not saying he's not elite. What I'm telling you is this: Aaron Rodgers has 1 Super Bowl. Why? You know why? Because Aaron Rodgers got beat. He got beat multiple times in the playoffs. What do you mean? Why? Because he didn't rise to the occasion.
No, don't just sit up here and say that he got beat. Tell the people why he got beat. Because he played for a team that did not put pieces around him like like the Patriots put around Tom Brady, even with Tom Brady with the Buccaneers. Aaron Rodgers never had that privilege. He never had a Tyreek Hill like Patrick Mahomes.
But great quarterbacks have to
that.
find a way. You have to win 2. Peyton Manning won 2. John Elway won 2. Patrick Mahomes has won 2. Tom Brady has won 2. Eli Manning even has 2 rings. Aaron Rodgers has 1, just like Brett Favre. That does not put you in that elite stratosphere. You gotta win 2 rings. You have to.
I'm gonna ask one last question, bro.
I want to say something about what you're talking about. The Packers building around Jordan Love compared to Aaron Rodgers. This is the first year that they drafted an offensive player in the first round. That was a positional player for talent.
Yeah,
they never did that for Aaron Rodgers.
That's true.
Okay,
that's true.
So I will agree with him that they put pieces, small pieces here and there, but Aaron Rodgers was the one that had to go and win those games. And if you take the team that is in Green Bay right now with that Aaron Rodgers from say like 5 years ago, that team would be way different than what it is now.
No, that's true. Especially with a healthy Micah Parsons. With a healthy Micah Parsons, and you add Aaron Rodgers from 5 years ago, that team probably has a very great shot at winning a Super Bowl.
And Mac, let's just be, you know what? Kyle, I see what it is. Kyle, you bring the patience, the calm, the radical thinking. And see, you know, Mac been calm and cool, collect this whole show, but I touch a little nerve, he can't think.
You said
straight.
Packers.
Clearly.
You said Packers. You said Packers.
It's hitting the nerve, but I can control it and just be like, all right, here we go.
So you mean to tell me if Michael Parsons was on the other side of that football field, maybe the outcome been a lot different.
If Michael Parsons is on the Bears will win a Super Bowl this year.
No.
Like hands down.
I didn't say that. I said if Michael Parsons was on the field on the defensive side for the Packers, that game would have been a different outcome.
Well, the Packers didn't win a game after he got hurt, so they became a completely different team after his injury. And if Parsons is on that
y'all
field,
in trouble now. Y'all in trouble.
If Micah Parsons is on that field, the Bears are probably the first off. If Micah Parsons is on that field, the Packers probably don't lose the last 4 games, and more than likely have a better record.
I don't understand your logic. If Micah Parsons make that big of a difference, you try to tell me Aaron Rodgers won't make that big of a difference? What are you?
He would. I said he would. I said he would.
You're looking at 2 different sides of the ball here.
Exactly. I said he would make a difference.
You have the coordinator of the offense who can go and throw passes where he needs to. He had the ability every now and then to pick up those much needed yards with his slow feet. But when you bring in Aaron Rodgers, as far as if he would run out and get a couple yards here and there. But when you throw in Michael Parsons, an elite pass rusher on a defense who had to go and create a guy to be a pass rusher, if you have him continuously rushing Caleb Williams, it does change the outcome of the game. Actually, it changes the last outcome of their season because that was where they were lacking. They were lacking in pass rush, and they were getting killed on the run.
So what you telling me, Kyle, is that the Bears should be afraid. They should be afraid because there's a team.
I wouldn't say that that they need to be afraid. I think that they would have to address that left tackle position again because I don't know what's going to happen with Ozzie Trapillo.
He's out.
He's out for the season. But then you also have to, address your protection packages with your running backs who are this year have been picking up blocks like crazy. But it also goes into Caleb's ability to scramble. They had Aiden Hutchinson on TV talking about it, how he knew he had about 3 sacks on him and he was able to get away. And, you have one elite pass rusher, you need to bring in another one to get up on those double teams to even free him up even more. But it's going to be the best part about this whole thing with bringing in Micah Parsons to the Packers and the way that the Bears are going. It makes this rivalry fun.
Yep.
And that's all I want.
It makes it real.
And everybody talks about records of Bears beating the Packers, Packers beating the Bears. Yeah, do I want the Bears to win? Of course. But I want these games to be fun. I want them to mean something. I want it to be something to watch. I don't like sitting there.
You're a good man, brother. Kyle, you're a good man, brother. But you don't. I don't believe that.
My son is a huge Packers fan.
Hey,
Duh.
brother, listen.
You let him live in the house?
My son is a huge Packers fan. Okay, we were at the game last year when the Packers blocked the game-winning field goal, and my son is wearing a Brian Urlacher jersey with a Green Bay Packers T-shirt underneath, crying and screaming tears of joy. Okay, and I told him, and I looked right at him. I go, "These are why these games are fun, because they mean something. I don't like blowout games. I hate blowout games. Those aren't fun to me."
But Kyle, this is what I'm trying to say. Mac is coming up here talking all this with his chest sticking out, and he already knows that Aaron Rodgers does what he owned the Bears. He always
did. He did. He did.
Yeah,
but
he did.
but the Bears also were in a bad place. They had bad management. They drafted horribly. It wasn't like his guy. It wasn't like you're acting like he was beating up on this elite team.
Mac,
the Bears
do not have the right to say that, because I used that same argument for Aaron Rodgers, and you found you.
What are you talking about? What do you mean? You said they didn't give him enough, but the Packers were never bad. The Packers were perennial playoff team every year. Every year that Aaron Rodgers was playing, even when they drafted Jordan Love. Jordan Love was late first round. You only get late first round picks when you're in the playoffs. So that's the thing.
Why are they in the playoffs?
Because they were a good team. They had good team, but Rodgers couldn't put them over the top. They were good teams. They weren't great. They weren't great teams.
12 back there.
Aaron Rodgers made the team better. That's simple. If you put anybody else on that team as quarterback, it's not the same. Aaron Rodgers, and going back to that gene, Aaron Rodgers has it, and Aaron Rodgers proved that when he stepped in Green Bay. But it was, I would say, it was Green Bay's management looking more at solidifying that defense than giving him those high pick offensive talent.
And guess what, Kyle? In the meantime of doing it, their defense was horrible.
Yeah.
That's horrible. That was the one thing I will say. That is the one thing I will give him in his. I will give that to Aaron Rodgers. He didn't have Reggie White, because that was what won Brett Favre a Super Bowl. Brett Favre, as great as Brett Favre was, the person that won in that Super Bowl was Reggie White. And if Aaron Rodgers had that on the other side of the football, yeah, he probably would have won more than one championship. But they didn't. And they didn't play out the way, and his legacy is affected because of it. And I'm sorry, you can't redo the past.
Well,
you can only go forward.
But you know what? Maybe they'll start tonight on the way for number 2 this year. Maybe it's not too late. It's not too late. It's not too late.
I'll tell you whose time it is, though. It's the Bears' time now. That's what time it is. It's the Bears. The Packers' time is over, man. It's not that the Bears aren't afraid of the Packers at all. What it is like Cal said, it's fun. It's fun again. It's a fun rivalry, but make no mistake about it. Caleb is here. Caleb is here, man. I'm telling you, it wasn't just that throw he made on 4th down against the Packers. It's been doing this whole season. Caleb has made throws that literally probably only maybe 10 quarterbacks, maybe 20 quarterbacks in the history of the NFL could make. This guy just does it effortlessly. He does it like it's just nothing to him. And they're darts. They're darts. That to me, scared of the Packers are terrified of us. When you see a dude that can make plays like that, you are shaking in your boots. That I'm telling you right now.
I won't say that they're scared. I think that they're starting to wake up to it. I will say that. Okay, and I think that, when you look at the Packers, they've always had the chip on their shoulder because they're the ones that have dominated this rivalry. But now they're recently, yes. But now they're starting to see the changing of the guard slowly start creeping in. And we just need to make a couple more moves here and there on the defensive side, and like I said, that's going to change. It's going to keep going. It's going to keep going.
We get that defensive line settled, we're talking dynasty, Cal. With the way that this kid is playing at quarterback, with the offensive weapons that's around him. And remember,
I won't say dynasty. I will not say dynasty.
No. I
not say dynasty.
Listen. Hold on. I didn't say they were. I said if they get that defensive line right, we could be talking dynasty.
Mac, hold on. I need to make a public announcement to Primetime Sports Network, all analysts, starting tomorrow morning. Matter of fact, when this show go off, everybody must be drug tested. Everybody. Everybody. Because the stuff that this man is coming out of his mouth right now is just crazy.
What's wrong
crazy.
with that? Did you think it was going to happen with the Chiefs when it happened? No, it happened. But why did it happen? Because they had the best quarterback in the game. And I'm telling you, dude, the way this dude has started, this is his second year under a first-year coach, and look at how he has developed. Can you imagine what Caleb is going to look like next year, Freddie? Look,
he's a
you
great
are just seeing the beginning, bro.
He's great, but I do know the organization he played for. He played for the Bears.
Oh, you about to say something wrong now? You about to say something
what
wrong?
Can go wrong will go wrong. This is who they are.
This is but this is if you're here in the city and you see this is a different feel than it's ever been. I mean, I remember when the Jay Cutler trade and everybody was on that bandwagon, that still didn't feel the same.
Yep.
We didn't, he didn't have that command. He didn't have that leadership quality that you wanted out of a quarterback. Then you bring in, the Orton, who should have won our Super Bowl against the Colts, but we won't go there. And then you bring in Mitch Trubisky, who was in the wrong place at the wrong time. And then Justin Fields, who I never thought was a good quarterback to begin with. And then actually sitting down and watching him and the way that he commands this team, and then bringing in not only Ben Johnson, but bringing in a coaching staff who is demanding and implementing a certain kind of belief in this team. And like I said, I've been saying for how many weeks we've been doing our show, when you have a team that buys into the system, believes in everything that's going on, once you have that belief, you become unstoppable because you believe you could do it. And they're starting to see that. And we haven't had that here, man. We have not.
And it's changed, Freddie. Freddie, it's changed. You got to understand that.
Come on here, but this man to come on here to say that y'all are creating a dynasty.
I won't say that.
Yes.
I won't
we
say
are
that.
creating. I can comfortably say the Bears are creating.
So let me ask you a question. Patrick Mahomes, he done?
No.
But
guess what? You don't understand what I'm telling you, Freddie. I'm telling you that Caleb will be challenging these other quarterbacks in the AFC. Caleb Williams is, by next year, I believe Caleb Williams will be the second, if not first. He'll be a top 3 quarterback in the NFC next year. He'll be one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the NFC. He will be in the NFC. In the NFC. Who's in the NFC? They claim. Well, wait a minute. According to everybody, they claim Jaden Daniels was the next coming of Dan Marino. Supposedly, Jaden Daniels was a mistake that the Bears even drafted Caleb, according to the national media last year. Why did we even pick this guy, Jaden Daniels? What do you mean? What quarterback in the NFC? According to the national media, Jaden Daniels is the greatest thing that's ever walked on the planet. Okay. I believe.
So let me ask you this question. I wouldn't be surprised if Matthew Stafford had a better season than Caleb Williams next year.
If he wins the Super Bowl, Matthew Stafford will retire.
No,
if they win the Super Bowl, you don't think with that bad back, you think he'll run it back if they win it.
I think he comes back and he takes a role as a mentor to whoever they draft this year.
Okay, I can see that.
I can still see Matthew Stafford have a better season than Caleb Williams. So you mean to tell me Mr. Dakota Prescott down there in the big star? We all know that Dak Prescott is big on putting up numbers. He's big about that. I don't think
empty calories though. Empty calories, and we know the Cowboys suck. So I know who's
in the playoffs and who's in Cancun.
Thank you.
Numbers. Hey, Jalen Hurts. I mean,
Jalen Hurts.
Kyle, the more you talk, you prove my point. There's not
about what Jay
in the NFC for
time out. But you did say there are quarterbacks though. Matthew Stafford is going to the Hall of Fame. So no, at this current moment, Matthew Stafford, yes, he's better than Caleb Williams, and he probably will be even next year because this guy is a 16-year Hall of Fame veteran quarterback that just knows all the defenses, knows every offensive play call out, that he's grizzled. Caleb can't touch him in his experience. It was just like when Patrick Mahomes had played against Tom Brady in that championship game. Tom Brady's team was able to say Tom Brady had so many years of experience over Patrick Mahomes in that game. You know what I'm saying? So, no, yeah, of course, he's going to have him just from a longevity standpoint. But if we're talking about from arm talent, if we're talking about pure arm talent, Caleb Williams' arm talent is just as good as Matthew Stafford, if not better. If not better.
Mac, be honest, by default, he's in the NFC. All the elite quarterbacks is in the AFC. He don't want to go get some Patrick Mahomes, or Joe Burrow, or Josh Allen, and all those.
No, you're correct about that. The top tier quarterbacks in the NFL, the majority of them do reside in the AFC. So and I believe that Caleb will be playing against them.
That's not a hot take. It's by default.
Okay, I got what you said. So you said it's gonna be by default that he's gonna be the best. Yes. It's not because he's got the best.
I'm gonna tell you. I will tell you this. He better, because there is a guy coming in the NFC, and you better hope this organization do what's right by him. You better hope they go hire John Harbaugh. You better hope they do get another piece on the other side of that football field, because they're not far. They're not far, and they're in the NFC East. That Jalen Dart. I like that kid.
Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart. New York has pieces. New York has an elite receiver, Malik Neighbors. They have some guys in that front line that can get after the quarterback. I do like what they're doing, but it is going to come down to them hiring the right coach. That's going to be a big part of it, because as we see with the Pittsburgh Steelers that just keep making the playoffs, and they're playing tonight, and I'm actually looking forward to that game. That's going to be huge. Coaching matters. And me and Cal have been saying that all along. Coaching matters. And that's what is a big part of these situations. Like, we could debate these players and their careers, but a lot of times, too, it's the matching of the quarterback with the coach. And that's why I'm so confident in the Chicago Bears, because I feel like Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams is like Bill Walsh and Joe Montana. And when you get a pairing like that, look at what happened. Look at what San Francisco became.
The more he lose. Who did Aaron
really
quarterback mostly down in Green Bay? Was it Mike McCarthy?
McCarthy sucked. McCarthy sucked. But I still don't have no love for Aaron Rodgers, bro. You ain't gonna ever get no Chicago Bear fans like us to have any love for Aaron Rodgers.
Look, you got some Green Bay colors on today. They're brown.
What you talking about? This is Chicago Bears custom. That's Chicago. Look at that's Marcus Mack right there, baby. That's Chicago Bears custom. Look at them sleeves. Look at them sleeves. This is Bear, baby. This is Bear down custom. That's how we do it here on Unfiltered. We come with the custom gear. Okay.
All right.
Oh man, we had another playoff game too, and I love Freddie jumping in. That's great discourse right there, Cal. I love that. But he tried to get us to co-sign on the Packer. That's never happening. That's never happening. But were you surprised that New England handled the Chargers so easily?
Well, I was disappointed in this game all the way around, man.
This was the most disappointing game out of all of them.
Yep.
Was
and
that
also,
game?
You know, I looking at this game, it was defense against defense most of the time in a kicking game, which was the only game where the kickers actually did the best because they had to score points, you know. But the Chargers were just decimated with injuries on the offensive side. And
the fact that they even made the playoffs was surprising.
Yep. And I thought that the Patriots just gave Herbert just a bad day. I mean, they got 6 sacks and they didn't even get 300 yards of total offense. No, Omari and Hampton didn't exist.
Nope.
Vidal had a couple plays here and there, but I mean, it was just a bad game on the offensive side for most of the game on both sides, I thought.
Yeah.
And then it just happened to be that Drake May got Hunter Henry open in the right spot to get that touchdown.
And that was really the story. But you know what though? I'm gonna tell you what though. Even if they hadn't scored that touchdown, with the way the Chargers were playing offensively, they were gonna win that game regardless.
Yeah, I was thinking it was gonna be a 9-3 game.
Regardless. Yeah, I mean, like seriously, it is just. I mean, I was disappointed, but I'm not surprised. You know, Drake May, even doing this, Drake May has taken a lot of sacks. That's been the surprising part of this is that I know that he has put up some big numbers. He's in consideration for MVP, but when you go and you look at the sack side of it, he gets put down a
Yep.
lot, and it showed its ugly head in this game against the Chargers. And you know, I'm gonna tell you what. I know, like I said, we got one more game that's gonna be played out tonight with the Pittsburgh Steelers playing at home, and they're playing the Houston Texans. So that's gonna fill out the final playoff bracket.
Well,
But we already know
we didn't even talk about the Kings getting dethroned, man.
the Kings getting
Yeah,
dethroned.
the Eagles getting dethroned by the 49ers, man.
You know why? You know why? Because every other national media spent all day trying to talk about this team that was dead in the water since the middle of the season, and that's why I did not care to talk about it. I watched a very lackluster team lay down against a very hungry San Francisco. As beat up as San Francisco is, they lose one of their best offensive weapons, and you still let them find a way to dominate you. The Eagles got dominated in that game. It's the bottom line. Frisco handed it to them. Okay. And in that last series, it didn't even look like they cared.
Nope.
They just ran a go route. It just looked like, and Jalen Hurts just threw it in the triple coverage.
Yep.
This team was so mentally burnt out that's why I haven't. But all we watched was a tired king go to bed.
Yeah.
That's what we saw. It wasn't a dethroning. It was a king who got up off the throne and said, "Please let me go to my room."
Yeah, and I mean, I remember texting you after it. That I feel like change is coming, man. I feel like
It's not right. Something's not right there.
Yep.
It just isn't. And even if you go back when they won the Super Bowl last year, they had issues in the locker room. They had issues with Sirianni. It is toxic up there, and they ran into a franchise that is everything but toxic in San Francisco. They have the coach that they love. They have the GM that believes in the team and tries and just keeps finding a way to plug in pieces after guys go down. And the better franchise won that game. The better team won that game. And you know what? Goodbye. I only reason why I'm upset is because I wanted the Eagles to win so that I knew that the Bears would beat them. That's it. I knew they come to Chicago and they lay down in the ground. And we actually got we don't have enough time to talk about really what's going to happen next week, but we do have some good matchups lined up. And I definitely cannot wait. I mean, my God, Seattle versus the 49ers is going to be great. Bears versus the Rams. Wow. In the cold in Chicago, boy, let's go. Okay. And then on the other side of it, we got great matchups happening. We know Buffalo has advanced. Like I said, we got to wait and see what's going to happen with Houston and Pittsburgh tonight. But I think that I wouldn't be surprised if the old man Rodgers did win at home, but I don't see Pittsburgh going much farther than this. So this will be great. This will be a great one to play because I do know that the Texans have a Super Bowl caliber defense, but like I said earlier, playing on the road, it ain't easy in the NFL.
No, it's not, man. You know, but I just have some. I don't know. I feel like the Texans can pull it out. I know, you know, for the past couple of weeks, Rodgers didn't have anybody to throw to since DK did his thing, but maybe DK comes back and with a vengeance since he lost so much guaranteed money. Maybe he comes out and wants to, you know, prove a point.
And we're gonna have really what I feel like might be one of the toughest tests for Josh Allen next week, maybe in his career. And we'll really find out if he's Superman or not going against the number one team in the AFC, the Denver Broncos, and that Denver Broncos defense. So that I'm going to be looking forward to that one as well. That's going to be a great matchup to see.
Oh yeah,
and
but Bo Nix got to put up points in that game.
He's going to have to because Josh Allen, like we said, he's coming. He's coming, and so you're gonna have to be on your best, man. Once again, This has been the inaugural episode, first one for Prime Coverage Sports Network. This is Unfiltered Sports with Mac and Cal. We just want to thank everyone for joining us. We want to thank Freddie the man for hopping in with us, adding insight and some crazy takes himself talking about. We got crazy takes. What are you talking about, Freddie? Talking about trying to get us to honor some Green Bay Packer. That'll never happen here on Unfiltered Sports. But once again, we want to thank everyone. Shout out to all of our listeners. Shout out to everyone that's came in to follow the show. We can't wait to do it again next week. Freddie, we want to thank you, man, my friend, for putting it all together. Let's keep this going. This has been awesome.
Y'all done? Because what we just heard, ladies and gentlemen, was pure craziness out of this. Pure crazy. Pure crazy.
Yeah, hey, drop.
Prime Coverage Sports Network. Real coverage, real conversation.